Hello, and welcome to my very first video. So, what I'm trying to do here is kind of show you guys what it's like to drive one of these cars every day, which I do. So, we're going to go for a little ride, and I figure, why not take it around Beverly Hills for a little bit, see what's going on out there. Now, I didn't realize today's the Golden Globes, so traffic's going to be a little tough. I don't know if you guys can see, but the mileage is at about 40,000. So when I say I drive this car every day, that's what I do. I am not sure how well you can see things from my POV camera. I'm going to probably have to artificially move my head more than I normally would, just so you guys can kind of see what's going on with a gated shifter and everything. The reason I'm making these videos is a lot of people always ask me, hey, what is it like driving one of those cars? I'll say what's surprising is that it gets a lot of attention. Now, I know that might sound ridiculous because, yeah, it's going to get attention, but what I mean is it gets more attention than, say, like a Bugatti would. And I know this from experience, where I've been driving next to a Bugatti or a nice new Lamborghini, and even without that engine noise. I think the thing of it is I want to say people are impressed, I guess, that you're driving a car like this. I mean, there's no power steering, the shifting is really difficult. And I mean, I would say even people who don't know that there's no power steering or don't know that the steering is difficult and the shifting is difficult and traffic is kind of a nightmare, I think they still see the car as kind of like an older car from kind of like a long time ago. And then also keep in mind that these are real garage queens, these cars. So, I mean, mine is, everything works, ashtray lights, engine, everything from the ashtray lights to the engine works. And I know that also might sound ridiculous, but a lot of these cars, like I said, they're garage queens, so people wouldn't even know if those ashtray, now look, you see they have their camera out, and that's basically, that camera out right there in that vehicle is something that maybe you do get it in a Bugatti, I guess, but I think you get it more in this. Or a Lamborghini, a new Lamborghini. Also in this area, where we live, Los Angeles, there's a lot of really fancy cars, so you get real used to it. I mean, what qualifies as fancy is really, really ridiculously off the charts. But yeah, like I was saying, everything works. So if you have this car and it's a garage queen, and yeah, here's the Golden Globes traffic. If you have cars like this, so you have a car like this and it's a garage queen, first of all, nobody ever sees it. And second of all, you also don't really know if an ashtray light is out or if the glove box is working or, anything else, because you really just, I don't know, go to Cars and Coffees and blah, blah, and then, show it off for a while, show the engine, have some coffee, take it home. I mean, I have the 40,000 miles on this to prove that I'm driving this car all the time. So it just kind of shows that I am. And I think that you're going to see these cars. And look, also these cars with 5,000 miles, it doesn't mean anything, because if they didn't take care of the car and the engine wasn't taken care of, it's going to cost you a fortune to fix. This car is almost showroom condition inside because I've taken care of it and I've maintained it and I've done what I needed to do to keep it working and keep it right. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure where this channel is going. This is obviously the first video, but I thought it would be kind of nice to kind of see what it's like to drive this car. I don't know, other parts of this country or even the world, if people have seen Beverly Hills other than what they've seen on TV, so it's kind of nice to see what it really looks like. And I thought, from my perspective, where I've got the camera, where you can maybe look down at the shifter if I decide to look down, which normally I wouldn't do, but you would be able to get, a real idea of, so if I'm looking in the back, you can basically see everything. That mirror is not bad. That mirror over there is an absolute nightmare. So it just kind of depends on what you're doing. I mean, yeah, changing lanes that way is tough. It's tough sometimes. I'm sure you can get one of those little, like, circular mirrors that'll, like, give you a better view, but I'm not interested in putting that on this car. Look, I mean, you just gotta be careful when you change lanes. It doesn't have lane change assist, by the way, if you're wondering. Let's see here. So, this is Wilshire. And we're gonna go down this way. There's a nice car. See, I mean, like, look, who's gonna notice, like, an old, everybody's gonna see that and there's, oh, it's an old Porsche. You know, they don't know what they're really looking at. Or Porsche. They don't really know what they're looking at. You know, 911s, man, you see more 911s than Miatas here. They're, like, super, super boring. And I've had them. They're great cars, but when I say super boring, I mean, you know, you're going to spend $100,000, $150,000 on a car just for yourself. You know, if you really like the 911 and you're happy with it, and by the way, there's one right there, and you're happy with it, great. You know, that's wonderful. But, you know, it's not a special car, right? How's that going to come off? Like a douchebag, that's how. It's not a special car. I mean, it's just not. You know, maybe in Miami blue, I guess. I don't know. But let's take a look. You know, I'll tell you what the thing is, though. I think that there are, like, older cars that are, you know, that are, the workload is a little heavier. You got to know what you're doing. Another 911. Those cars, I guess I respect more. And I think driving this on a daily basis as a daily driver is absolutely insane. And I think I'm probably the only one in this country that does it. I mean, maybe I'm not. Maybe there's, like, one other guy in, like, Tennessee who's doing it. Good for him. And there's a Ferrari right over there. Yeah, that's my point. You know, I'm just driving around. Yes, I'm in Beverly Hills, but I guarantee you if I make more of these videos and I'm in Santa Monica or Venice or Malibu, Malibu's nice, West Hollywood, you're still going to see 911s. You're still going to see those new Ferraris. You're still going to see, you know, even Lamborghinis, although they're more rare, I've still seen, like, a bunch of them. Like, if you drive around LA for 30 minutes a day, you know, just across town, there's zero chance you're not going to see a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or a Bentley. Like, there's no, unless you're not looking, like you have your eyes closed, there's a zero chance. And what's my point? I guess my point is that when I bought this car, I thought to myself, yes, this is my point. When I bought this car, I thought to myself, okay, instead of spending the money on, like, a 911 or spending the money on, like, you know, I don't know, anything that was out there that I was looking at, I said I could spend money on this and have, like, just a really cool, fun car to drive. And I thought, okay, you know, that's going to be awesome. But I did not realize that the main issue with driving this car, beyond the power steering, because it really doesn't matter when you're driving, it only matters really in parking lots. Other than parking lots and parking, I don't think it matters that much. Gated shifter is really cool. It's kind of hard to shift, but you get used to that too. Unless you're stuck in traffic and you really got to, like, ride the clock. Like, then, in those cases, you know, my left leg starts to really hurt. But it's not the end of the world. The worst part of this car is the amount of attention it gets. And I guess my point is, if those cars, if a Huracan or a 911 or, you know, 458, 488, whatever, those cars do not get attention here. People do not pull their cameras out. I mean, I've seen them on the road, and I've been behind them, and people just drive by like it's a Prius. It just is what it is. Now, I'm sure some people pull their cameras out. I'm sure it happens sometimes. There's another 911. I'm sure it happens sometimes, but I'm saying that when I bought this car, and I was going to daily drive it like I am, I thought to myself, okay, it's cool for me. Some guys around me, like an old 911s, or, you know, like older cars, they'll, like, look over, appreciate it, give me maybe a thumbs up, and other than that, I'll basically be left alone. Because I was basing it on the fact that all of these people were driving these Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and, you know, basically, no big deal, right? You know, good for you. That was where I made a mistake. And I think that, you know, at the beginning of this conversation that I've been having with myself, but actually with you guys, I think that's the thing that I came to find out, that people really see this car as something special because they're garage queens. Because even if you're not into cars, which I'm going to say something funny about this. I was with a girl, and we were looking at New Ferrari, California. I was